God, if this is not broadcasting audio, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
I should probably
We
do
changed
that
your
thing
settings,
where I
Ian.
like
It should
look
work
at the
this
thing.
time. Damn it.
Shit, had I known this, I would have just hopped on my PS5.
Yeah, well, it's fine.
You
Better-
just would have heard the sounds of my people. The drag going like 4 times and me not caring.
What the fuck? Oh, this it's okay.
Or Sam.
I can at least see what's going on your end.
Right. Oh, God.
Pets. Oh, shut up, you like it. Okay, bye.
Oh, I hear something in the background and I...
Same.
Ah!
You are listening to the replay of the stream. Dear God.
Oh my God!
Like, that's some hot metal on metal action right there.
Unfortunately, the case of person who is my wife, who is viewing, is right next to me. Hello, dear.
Oh
Okay,
my God,
so-
yeah, there's a delay.
So, can you hear Ian?
At least from the stream, I was hearing you pretty clear.
Okay, it sounds like I'm catching you, Ian. That's good. Okay, Mandy, you can turn that down or off. It's okay. We've got him now. We've captured his soul. Finally.
My news,
It's not a fucking Pokemon.
You from my controller and you from the stream is freaking me out.
All right.
Thank you, technology.
All right. We are here. We are live. Despite everything.
It's been a couple months.
Yeah, it's been. I think the last time I missed the Goop was October.
Yeah, it was definitely before. I think it was before.
It was before. It was definitely before. Way before.
It was before Thanksgiving. I know that.
Yeah. Hold on.
Was it before Halloween?
I'll check.
This is yeah. I could just look for the picture I sent you
It's
because
fine.
Discord wanted fucking root permission on my computer. Like, why?
8/6/23 was the last time I messaged the group. Our last one we did this, or no, sorry, 10/6. Last time we did this was 9/15. So
Perfect.
September. Last time we did it was September. It's been a few months, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been a very interesting few
And
months.
it's not like there were things going on.
Clearly not, and more streams to be had. Anyway, all right, here we are. We're talking Final Fantasy. We're moving on to Final Fantasy 2
Those.
because
Delightful.
because we can, and I said so.
Because I said so. Jesus Christ.
And depending on how long it takes for us to finish talking about this one, we might move on to Final Fantasy 3. If not, that'll be the next Let's Talk that'll happen next month. So, Final Fantasy 2.
Ah, the black sheep.
Yes.
An interesting little problem child.
Oh, yes. Released, let's see if Ian knows, because I've got the whole thing pulled up like on here, like I did last time.
Yeah, I can see it from my angle, so
Final Fantasy-
I can't play.
Final Fantasy 2, originally named Final Fantasy 4, if I recall, over in Japan.
No.
Was it?
Well,
No?
that
This is 2.
was
You're
based on
thinking 4.
American Western release when it first came out.
Yeah, you're thinking 4 was Americanized as 2. Just
It
because
did
of the
a weird
lifespan
thing.
of the NES, how long it took to translate.
Yeah, fair.
And then the SNES just came out.
That is fair. Ian, do you know when Final Fantasy 2 was released over in Japan?
Based on its Japanese release? Oh God, fuck! You're asking me the hard question because release dates are not my forte. But if I had to guess, probably like
Yeah.
early
just
1980s.
You're correct in the time period, just not. You're just on the other half. It was actually released.
88.
Yep,
Let's guess.
88.
Nice.
1988, Final Fantasy II released for the Famicom over in Japan. As it says here, notes the original version.
Yeah.
Does it have a... Nope, it just says 88.
Yeah, just says 1988. Then it didn't finally end up coming over to the U.S. until 2003 with Final Fantasy Origins.
What does it say? Dawn of Souls?
No, Dawn of Souls was actually 2004.
Okay.
I believe Ian knows.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because like Origins was their release on the PlayStation they did with 1, I want to say.
Yeah, it was 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah, because they did a compilation with, like, Chrono Trigger and something else, too. 6.
Yeah,
They did
and then
with
I think
Chrono
like Dawn of
Trigger
Souls
6.
came after the fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dawn of Souls was released in Japan, USA, and Europe on the GBA In 2004, Ian and I had an absolute blast with Dawn of Souls back in 2012.
I used to have a copy of that. I used to have a physical copy of that game.
I thought you still did.
Demons ate it.
You know, I hate it when that happens.
Definitely emulated it back in 2005 or so.
Absolutely.
Didn't have a GBA. Couldn't play GBA games until I got my DS.
I mean, that's fair.
DS
That's fair.
fat.
Oh, the OG DS. The good one that my brother decided to snap in half.
The chunk one.
Yeah.
Chonky boy.
Yeah, actually, it's been re-released over so many different things. Phone, the Wii Virtual Console, the PSP. It was the PS1 Classics for, looks like... I don't know. Yeah, PlayStation Store, downloadable PSP games, in Japan and Europe. Worldwide on Android, it was based on the iOS version, no shit. And then, ultimately, the most recent one was the Pixel Remasters.
Which we're staring at right now.
Yep, we are staring at the titles, at least the title art.
Yeah,
too.
the title card.
Yep, the title card. We could also go, I mean, if we really want to, we could go to this one.
Yes!
The OG, if you will, which I looked at that and I said, I could...
That is 80s.
That's... Look, I can make out the 2 and possibly fantasy. If you ask me what the first word is, I could barely make out final because it's got
Rickard's. the head of a dragon in that first half.
It's got Rickard's helmet.
That's some Amano artwork, let's be honest.
Well,
Amano, draw some letters, please, in English, not your non-native tongue.
Amano, please. Yeah, so...
But honestly, I appreciate how much his artwork is still being influenced and used today as a reference point.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, alright, so we're gonna move on to the character section, which we have quite an interesting cast of characters in this one. We actually have named protagonists. And a lot of death. Like, playing through 2 again, holy shit is there so much death.
You forgot how many people just
oh my god,
show up for a cup of coffee and then just die.
And then get crushed by a boulder. The only one I was legitimately sad about was there were 2 I was sad about, which was Yosef and Rickard, because Rickard was awesome. Loved him. And then they gave you Leon for like the very last half of the game, and he's just like, alright, cool, I didn't fucking need you. Everybody else is strong enough to deal with everything else. What
Cool,
the fuck I got
betray
you
me
for?
again, please.
Right. Give him a stat reroll.
Oh man, did you forget about Scotch, the man who dies literally at the very beginning?
Oh, you mean the guy that literally is just like, hey, alright, take this.
Behold, I have plot, dead.
Accurate.
Oh no, my plot armor is up. Oh wait, that's Minwoo.
That
Quick,
is Minwoo.
take my plot ring.
Minwoo was so good, though.
Mm-hmm.
He died doing the one thing that we needed him to do. Give us Ultima. And
He unlocked the MacGuffin.
He did.
Yes.
Which, so, for those that have not played Final Fantasy II, it didn't work like your generic... it didn't work like Final Fantasy I, where you had a specific class. It had a leveling system that was so different compared to any other Final Fantasy game.
Ish. From what I've read, it was designed that you build your class,
Yeah. You build yourself as you want.
like say you want Freon to be a fighter, and
Freon to be a fighter.
you
just do
focus
these
on
things.
those primary stats, while Maria, you want her to be like a ranger or
Be
something.
magic.
You
Just
focus on
unleash
that, and
I had-
no, you two go out the first town and beat yourself up for an hour and a half, and
health
suddenly 5,000 HP.
before you hit the first boss.
Yes.
No
That was the meme
damage.
back in the day.
Damage, none. Health, you got it.
Or, you could just go, or you could double down on certain things, say like, oh, what if I just want to give, I don't know, guy just 2 axes and just let him go hog wild?
Yes.
Give them to Guy and just be like, all right, later. Hold up, wait. I'm reading this here because I'm reading the plot for like the characters and everything before we get to the story. We have Firion, or Firionel in the Japanese release, and the NES prototype. Okay.
Before they realized, oh, SNES is here, stop.
Yeah. Guy, G-U-Y as general, or G-A-I, or Gus in the remake for the PlayStation.
I just saw his alternate names. Gus.
Goose.
Leon, or Leon Hart. He comes later. We gave Leon Hart later. It's okay. And then
Don't
Maria.
think too hard about that
We'll
name,
just
though.
reuse that name later in the series.
Right. So let's see. 5 playable characters join the party on their mission. These are Gordon, or Godan, the Prince of Kashan, a member of the rebellion. Yosef. Layla. Yeah, I remember Layla. She was the pirate
lady. Yeah.
And Minwu. Oh, and then, of course, we cannot forget Rickard. Or Ricardo I'm not going to fuck
Haywindo!
Thank you. I was
Yeah,
not going to fuck that
Haywindo.
up.
I'm not even looking at the thing. I
Edward
just used the worst
hold
English
on,
possible.
Hold on. And Rickard Highwind, Gareth in the PlayStation remake, Edward in the NES prototype, and Richard in the Japanese release.
Perfect.
Yeah, what of it? Don't worry about it.
Gareth! How did we go
Yeah.
from Rickard to fucking Never mind.
Geralt.
Geralt of Rivia.
Next D&D character win.
Yeah, Geralt of Highwind.
Geralt of Highwind.
Yes.
Geralt of Blaviken.
Sid of Blaviken.
Sid of Blaviken, there you go. And then, of course, the Emperor of Palamecia, whose name was actually Matthias.
I think it was like added later.
Yeah, and
Like
Kenji
before he was
Terada's
just the
novelization
Emperor.
of the game is when he was named Matthias. Yep, as a respective hero and villain representing Final Fantasy II in Dissidia, Dissidia 012, and Dissidia NT. We don't talk about Dissidia NT. Like, we don't talk about that one. That was arguably one of the worst. That is, of the 3 Dissidia games, that is the worst. Alright. Well. Ian, you want to talk about the story this time? Or do you want me to read what the wiki says?
Oh, God. I was going to say, it's been so long I couldn't tell you, like, the main bit. Like, I know certain story strokes into, but I couldn't be able to give you, like, a beat for beat plot.
That is fair.
Same. It's been so long since I read the LP.
That's fair. Alright, I'll read the story here. And this is arguably going to be the longest part of this video. Before we start talking about the other stuff with it. Final Fantasy II begins as Firion, Maria, Guy, and Leon are attacked by Palamecian Black Knight soldiers and are left for dead. Firion, Maria, and Guy are rescued by Princess Hilda, who has established a rebel base in the town of Altair after her kingdom Fynn was invaded by the Emperor. Hilda denies their request to join the rebel army because they are too young and inexperienced. The 3 set off for Fynn in search of Leon. There they find a dying Prince Scott of Kashan, Hilda's fiancé, who informs them that a former nobleman of Kashan, Borgin, fucking Borgin,
Borgin.
betrayed the rebellion and became a general in the Imperial Army. The party returns to Altair to inform Hilda. She allows the group to join the rebellion and asks them to journey north to find Mithril, a metal which could be used to create powerful weapons, which gets so overclassed so fucking easy in the game. The party makes its way to the north.
Every Final Fantasy, let's be real.
Accurate. What was that, Ian?
And it's, like, so delightful how funny it does get outclassed.
Oh god, it gets outclassed so quick. The party makes its way north to the occupied village of Salamand, saves villagers forced to work in the nearby mines, kills Borgin, and retrieves the Mithril. Everything I'm reading, by the way, is off of the wiki, so this is exactly how whoever put this in has this set as.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not paraphrasing this shit at all. This is exactly what it says. For their next mission, the party is sent to the city of Bafsk to prevent the construction of a large airship known as the Dreadnought. However, it takes off just as they arrive. After retrieving the Sunfire, a weapon which can blow up the Dreadnought, they watch helplessly as an airship with Hilda on board is captured by the Dreadnought. When the Dreadnought lands to stock up on supplies, the party rescues Hilda and throws the Sunfire into the airship's engine. Before escaping from the explosion, the party encounters a Dark Knight whom Maria thinks she recognizes as Leon. On his deathbed, the King of Fynn tasks the party to seek the help of the seemingly extinct Dragoons of Deist. In Deist, the party finds only a mother with her son, learning that all but one of the Dragoons are dead, partially as a result of Imperial poison. After placing an egg of the last wyvern in a cavern, the party returns to Altair and rescues Hilda from the Empire a second time, before successfully reclaiming Fynn from the Imperial forces. They then travel west in search of a powerful magic item, joining forces with the last surviving Dragoon on the way. The party returns to Fynn and sees that many towns have been destroyed by a cyclone summoned by the Emperor. The party calls upon the newly born last wyvern to take them to a castle inside the cyclone, where they confront and kill the Emperor. Back at Fynn, everyone celebrates the Empire's defeat, but a mortally wounded Fynn soldier arrives and reveals that Leon has taken the throne and plans to destroy the rebels with the Imperial army. The party enters the castle of Palamecia and confronts Leon, but the Emperor reappears in the throne room in a new demonic form, revealing he has become the ruler of Hell and returned with the intention of destroying the entire world. The party and Leon escape Palamecia Castle with the Wyvern, as the castle is replaced with the Palace of Hell, Pandemonium. Leon agrees to help the group steal the Emperor away. The party travels to the Jade Passage, an underground passage to the underworld, and finds the portal to Pandemonium, where they finally defeat the Emperor. Afterwards, Leon chooses to leave in response to the trouble he has caused, though Firion assures him that he'll be welcome back if and when he returns. There is so much they fucking missed in all of that, too. Like, I know you can't put the whole story on there,
It's
but...
a synopsis.
Wow, they skipped a lot. They skipped the fact that they met Layla. They skipped the fact that Minwu... They literally
died.
said, we're going to get the powerful item. They didn't say anything about, we got the powerful item, which was the Ultima spell.
Yeah.
Great job. Love it.
That's why you use the Vector library.
No, that causes the game to take forever. Hold on. There was an additional storyline in Dawn of Souls?
Oh yeah, you can play as everyone that died.
Yeah, you play as the
Never
Dead
made
Boys
it
as
to
you
that
go
point.
kill the other half of the Emperor's soul, who became like the king and god of like the heavens, effectively, while the other part of him was ruling hell. So he could basically literally rule heaven and hell.
Why didn't we
Kinda
do that
wild,
shit in
really.
the Why didn't I learn about that shit in the LP? What the fuck?
Because I think I dissuaded you away from doing that, because that is a very, very brutally hard start.
Let me read this real quick.
Like, the game almost punishes you to try to start it out.
Let me read this real quick because this is interesting. Dawn of Souls remake for the Game Boy Advance includes an additional storyline that takes place after the game, which follows the 4 party members who died during the story. Following his sacrifice to unseal the door guarding the Ultima Tome, Minwu awakens in a new area and sees someone resembling Gordon fight off Imperial soldiers. Minwu assists him, and the man soon explains that he is Scott, Gordon's brother. Minwu informs him of the events up to his own demise, and the two surmise that they are in the Jade Passage since they both died. They find Yosef and subsequently Rickard, eventually emerging in Makanon, a valley in the mirror image of Poft, where the citizens are dead victims to the Emperor's conquest, including Cid and Tobul, with the former asking the group to find out where they are and why they've been called here. The 4 enter the teleporter at the north edge of town and enter what Minwu believes is Pandemonium. Climbing to the highest floor, the party meets the Light Emperor, who explains that when Firion and his allies killed him, his soul was split, with the Emperor's dark half falling to hell and acquiring more power, while his light half, the Emperor they now see, ascended to heaven. He then explains they are in Araboth, Palace of Heaven, and the cave they traveled through was Rakia, the place where fallen angels are cast down to become demons, and that he called them here to ask for forgiveness on behalf of his dark half, and offers them eternal life with him in Araboth if they forgive his sins. Though the 4 are tempted by the offer, apparitions of their loved ones show them a vision of Firion and his allies battling the Dark Emperor in Pandemonium. Realizing this Emperor is just as evil as the original, the 4 reject his offer and defeats the Light Emperor just as Firion and his allies vanquish the Dark Emperor. As the rebels in the world of the living celebrate their victory, the specters of Minwu, Scott, Yosef, and Rickard watch them and wish them well as they fade away into peaceful rest. Minwu comments that if anyone can change a man's legacy of violence, it's Firion and his friends. What the fuck?
Yeah, oh yeah, no, there's like a whole ass thing there, basically.
What the shit? I'm so glad you dissuaded me away from that. That'd have been a fucking nightmare. Holy
I can
hell.
tell you exactly what would happen. You would have gotten Minwu, who was very low level. You'd have had Scott, who had no very low level. You'd have entered a first encounter and then died very fast and wondered what the fuck happened.
Yes.
Yeah,
It is very brutal and very, very hard. Even more so when you have the 2 mindset of, oh, this person's going to die, or I know they're going to die, let me remove all their equipment.
Right. Send them in there with nothing. Damn.
Yeah, it becomes a case of, if you're going to do that set bit, you then have to make sacrifices of, do I permanently lose certain equipment just so they'll have it for that part of the story?
Right. Damn. Okay, that was... What the hell?
Yeah, I think that might have been the reason I said nothing, because I know it was only going to be unending pain for you.
I mean, I'm now looking at the reception scores. I'm not gonna bother to read those because everybody has their own opinion as to that of Final Fantasy II. being it is, as Drew said, the black sheep of the franchise.
Or at least the first black sheep, I would say.
Yeah, the black sheep of the Pixel era, as I'll call it, because the Pixel era is 1 through 6.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, damn, I don't have words right now after reading that second part. Like, what the? I'm so fucking glad, dude. Like, what the shit?
I was gonna say, imagine if I had told you way back when. It's like,
Imagine
there's a post game, there's an epilogue.
I probably told you were fucking crazy. Like,
the best part is, I think it only appears once you've beaten the main game once, and it just like appears in the menu basically.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually. I have to rewatch the last episode to like see that point because I need to know. Like, to see if you actually mention something about it, or you're just like, just don't do it.
I think I just kept quiet about it, knowing me.
You might have. Either way, I mean... Okay, so... Damn, I'm literally, like, still trying to, like, re-figure out words after reading that. Holy shit.
That, in fairness, I don't think you would have wanted to just immediately go into, like, an acid-flipped version of the final dungeon, but again.
No, absolutely not. So, how do we want to go in order of our thoughts on Final Fantasy II? Do we go... I'm meaning this as a joke. Do not hit me since you're right next to me. Do we want to go in the terms of age of those who have played it before the others?
Considering I didn't play it until emulation was a thing.
Which is fair.
I played
the Famicom version for like all of that hour and a half to beat up my dudes. My knowledge is
I have an interesting history with it, honestly.
It'll do elaborate, Ian. Go on.
Because as a weird small child, did acquire it when it came out. I even bought like the little like strategy guide that came out at the time. Not the most helpful thing in the world.
They never were.
No. At least you got the Brady Games ones.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but regardless, tried playing it for a few times. Didn't know what I was doing because I was a small child and, well, what is paying attention and reading?
Right.
Accurate.
Left town, went south, got murdered by turtles.
Oh god, I forgot about the turtles. So early game turtles, they suck, dude.
Reload, didn't save, so started again, had to do the entire early sequence again. Went right, then got murdered by ogres, and I was like, well, this game seems stupid. Stopped playing.
And done.
A couple years later, slightly more older me at that time, got a better understanding of things, played it properly, and actually, I will say, I have beaten, I think, that game, like, about 15 times or so, and I've beaten the post-game, the epilogue version of that, about 5 times.
Fair.
Nice.
So, your thoughts on the game, Drew?
Like I said, my knowledge of it is through osmosis.
That is fair.
Little I played, I enjoyed, other than the meme of beating yourself up. But I read an LP, and I love the LP of it, so...
Which is fair. I honestly didn't play 2 until, obviously, the Let's Play that Ian and I did. I think, we made it, I think 3 episodes into that, Ian, and then we stepped the fuck away from it, and then I went and did Amnesia.
I can understand that. Just like, okay, pause.
Yeah, I think, no, because
something like that, because there's a gap. 2 is one of those games where it's like, it's brutal trying to do it blind. It's like, you need some preparation, because that, up until you get Mithril, the game is basically just like, so hard, that early swing, basically.
It's quite literally, don't die the game until you get Mithril, then it's alright, now you got a chance.
So it's the Dark Souls of Final Fantasy.
Honestly, yeah. Honest to God, I'd agree with that statement.
It really is. It's like, Mithril is like getting your starting weapon in Dark Souls, but we've decided to extend that throughout instead of like one tutorial here, we decided to make it like, ring the first bell, now you get your actual weapon.
It's
like that length of a gameplay, effectively.
Oh, it's amazing. So, yeah, no, I don't really have anything else on that one. We kind of touched briefly on the mechanics of the game. It had, like Drew said, it was build your team the way you want to. Whereas other Final Fantasy games later on, definitely you did that. You could obviously do that a lot better.
Oh yes.
They fully.
Well, it was more based on the case of if you had a job system, then you could technically give someone a different role. But building someone from the ground up, however you wanted, even going the hard other way from how like a basic build that they wanted you to maybe like point in a direction, that was like not really done, not a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, I don't remember from Dawn of Souls, but having played through Final Fantasy II again a few months ago, one of my favorite aspects of like at least the mechanics of the game, visually anyway, is the fact that you can see the progression of the spells, like what the spell does. Starting
how like every 3 levels it visually changes like its animation.
Mm-hmm. Like Ultima, for example, starts off as a little beam and then essentially becomes a fucking nuke.
Or it's like here's literally just a hellmouth effectively just like flying around.
Yeah.
And it was a visual step up on the Famicom because it didn't have the 2-pane system for the battles anymore.
Mm-hmm. It didn't. It was
here's your battle scene and then here's your menus and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Which, you know, looking back at Final Fantasy 1 with like the story of what Final Fantasy 1 actually was, it's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think honestly, like the mechanics on how you built your team in Final Fantasy 2 was unique.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
It's the most. It's a thing of when you finally get how it works, it makes the most sense where everything gets leveled based on how it is used or interacted.
Yeah.
In terms of story, though, I think it is easily one of the more obtuse, or at least just early gates, because half the time you're just like, I don't know where the hell I'm going. I don't know the specific things of who I need to talk to, who I don't need to talk to,
especially like,
and what special words I need to use to tell people what's a good thing.
The keyword system was kind of a good idea.
The keyword system was a good idea. I did, in fact, like the keyword system because it was a way of you could bring up the keyword to any to specific people and learn like their thoughts on said thing too, which was actually very interesting. So, in terms of reception, kind of glossing over the reviews here. Honestly, a lot of things are putting it at, like, this is obviously across all versions of the game. Fairly high ratings, honestly. I think the absolute lowest is Famitsu's publication gave the Famicom version, or the PlayStation version, a 27 out of 40. In terms of, I mean, it's not a bad game.
No.
Not by any form of the means. It's actually...
It was also the Famicom. Sequels were supposed to be outlandish and different somehow anyway.
Right.
Except for Mario Brothers.
It's funny that the reception page for the wiki also is stating something about Super Mario Bros. 3.
Nice.
Like, upon release, Famitsu gave the original Famicom version a score of 35 out of 40 based on a panel of 4 reviewers giving it ratings of 9, 9, 9, and 8 out of 10. This made it one of the 3 highest rating games of 1988, along with Dragon Quest III, which scored 38 out of 40, and Super Mario Bros. 3, which scored 35 out of 40. It was also one of the magazine's 5 highest rating games up until 1988, along with Dragon Quest III, which 38 out of 40, Zelda 2: Adventure of Link, which was 36 out of 40. So it's like, interesting.
One nation loves that game, and another nation fucking hates it.
Which one?
Zelda 2.
That's also... Oh, sorry, along with Dragon Quest 2. I misread.
Oh, Japan loves Dragon Quest, though. Oh my god.
Oh my god, yeah, absolutely. I can't blame them. I've played a lot of Dragon Quest games, and they are good games.
I need to sit down and play some of those, to be real.
I should at some point sit down to do and play one.
I know they have the first, I want to say 3, You can get they're kind of remasters, but they are they are the
still
same game.
the same basic
Of 1, 2, and 3, you can get them on Switch.
grind fest that those games were.
The first, I've watched my dad play through the first one, and that one's a grind fest and a half.
Well, Nintendo Power was so hard for that game back in the day. That and the original Final Fantasy.
Well, Ian, you and I were going to do a Let's Play over Dragon Quest 3 at one point. I think we did.
Or at least we started, maybe?
I think we started and then we just didn't continue on after one point. I don't remember.
Vaguely.
Right. Honestly, this one, we can't really put a pinpoint on our differences in playstyle on this one because, like, our differences in playstyle for this game are so vast on how we built each character, honestly. Like, I could build Firion into being a dual wielder with swords.
Which I think was literally the idea I gave to you because it was what I do with Firion
Right.
like every time.
And let's have the blood sword now. You win.
Yeah, pretty much.
You win
Blood sword and
every encounter.
Masamune. You just murder everything. Nothing stands in your way.
So here's another fun fact. Because at this point we're only a half hour in, so we could jump right over to 3 after these next 2 points.
Right.
Does the game still hold today? In our own opinions.
That's a great question. I still need to sit down and play Pixel Remaster to give you a fair assessment.
Which is fair.
I was gonna say I would have to pick up a copy and like just play 2 again because I haven't in like 10 years or so. It's been a long time.
I think the last time we touched 2 at least together, Ian, was the Let's Play.
I think so because I think in between like stuff I was like playing. I popped up on an emulator and played it myself. I was like, okay, I remember, and just did more or less the same thing I always do in that game.
I think, seeing as I played and platinumed the Pixel remake, honestly, I still think it's a great game. If I were to basically if I were to give it, honestly, my own personal score out of 10 for what I've played and the amount of times I've played through the game, I've only played through the game twice. Once on the Let's Play and then
just
the,
now. Well,
the
not
remake.
now,
But yeah, within the last few months, with the remake. I've only played the game twice. I don't think it's a bad game by any means.
It's just different.
It's different.
It's very different.
But it's not a
You
bad
can
different.
see the ambitions they wanted to do. I don't think they just had the necessary cartridge space or programming ability for a NES to do it.
Right. And honestly, I think if I were to give it my own score out of 10, I'll put it at a 7.5. It's obviously, of its time, it was different.
Mm-hmm.
As for still holding today, I think it honestly can. It's an homage back to older times.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. I think it's honestly 7.5 out of 10 for me.
I'd be willing to sit down in front of my laptop, play it through Steam, give it a fair chance.
Yeah. Or since you've got my...
Yeah, either
you
or
can
hook the
pick
laptop
whatever.
up to the big screen.
Yeah, that too. Ian, what would you get out of 10, honestly, for your memory?
So you would think, with how much I played it, you would think, must be high up there, isn't it? A good 5 out of 10, I think I would give it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's fine, but not the game I would recommend someone first fresh faced from like Final Fantasy. Is like, what's a Final Fantasy? 2 is not the first thing I would throw their way.
God, no.
Probably that honor to be like number 4 or 7.
I'd even go as far as...
I would throw 6 of them first, if anything.
It depends on, if you want to do that, if you want to understand espers or not.
Right. Honestly, if I were to kind of say, as a kind of a closing thought, as we're going to kind of wrap up Final Fantasy 2 and do 3 next, since we've only been going for about a half an hour.
I will probably have to bounce, gentlemen, because I am given the sad mules of someone wants to go to bed.
That's fine. Drew, you and I can discuss 3.
Right.
Because
mainly you, because osmosis of it. But once we hit the SNES era, oh god.
Oh yeah, once we jump into 4, which will be next month. Once we jump into 4, I will be going off like a motherfucker. Ian can confirm.
I think we all will on our own special.
But in either case, goodbye, gentlemen.
Take care, Ian. We shall see you. We shall have you back in. Actually, I will sometime. I will see you next Friday when we do 14.
Eventually, assuming I don't die. But either way, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
So, I hope that doesn't actually show up on the...
It doesn't, at least for the Skyrim streams and stuff.
Yeah, but we don't also have... Anyway.
Yeah,
yeah, honestly, I mean... Final Fantasy 2. The closing thoughts, honestly, while it isn't a bad game, it's definitely dated for its time. Even the Pixel Remaster, while it does give it, obviously, the graphical overhaul and everything, and does make it better, it could have been a better game.
Yeah. Again, you can see what they wanted to do, I think it was... Then again, I don't have original manual or any sort of manual, so it may have been communicated very well to Japanese children.
It might have been.
And adults.
Yeah, so my save file took me 18 hours.
Not bad.
Yeah, because I saved, I did multiple saves. So I was like, I'm going to save here at this point, and this point, and this point, and this. I think it was, literally before, points of... I mean, you can see, when I went into basically going into the final area, because I had to grind out for the one enemy that spawns on, in one specific row.
Oh, God, all this entire thing and no guy speak beaver.
No guy... I mean, that's true. Beaver. Guy speak beaver.
Guy speak beaver.
Guy do speak beaver.
Was that properly translated in this?
Yes.
Nice.
I want to say, I don't honestly, it's, again, when was that dated? November? Yeah,
fair.
It's January, that's
fair.
It's
January.
A lot has happened since then.
Definitely not dating this stream.
No. Yeah, no, not a bad game. 7.5 out of 10 for me. There will be games that score a lot higher. There will be a few games that honestly I have to put a lot lower. Final Fantasy, if I don't think we gave Final Fantasy 1 a rating, honestly, I'd put Final Fantasy 1 at a 5 out of 10 because of obviously it's of its time of what it was and everything. So let's see if I can get this switched over to 3 without accidentally killing the stream. If it does, we'll give it a minute and then start the stream back.
Technical difficulties abound.
All right, so I'm going to pause the stream real quick and then hopefully we can switch over to 3 and not have any issues. Okay, I'll be right back. Oh boy.